The fourth thing that every idea needs is a bodyguard. Ideas are powerful things, but only at the end. In the beginning, an idea is so fragile. I would imagine that everyone in this room has had an idea that you were so excited about, and then you showed it to someone too early, and they went, pfft, and then that pfft just blew it out of the room, and you're like, where did it go? And it's not coming back. We have to protect ideas until they get their feet underneath them to figure out what they're going to be. When I was in college, I really wanted to write children's picture books. I love children's picture books. I love how silly they are. I love making kids laugh. I love all of it. And so I was studying that. I was in creative writing classes on campus. I was organizing groups of friends to get together and critique each other's work and give feedback. And it was all going great. And I kept hearing from all these different people, Kyle, I think you could get this book published. But I did the worst thing that you can do when someone tells you that. I Googled it. I Googled, how do you get a kid's book published? And here's why that's a bad idea, because Google doesn't actually know how to get a kid's book published. Google knows how to look around the internet and find answers to that question. And it turns out there are a lot of people who have asked that question on the internet. People in Facebook groups and subreddits and user forums, all people trying to get their kid's book published. And when they ask that question, you know what they get? You don't. How do I get a kid's book published? You don't. Do you have a connection? Do you have an agent? Or did you go to this writing program? Are you famous? Are you rich? Are you already successful? If not, good luck. And I read all of these stories about how my dream could go wrong. And I'm kind of ashamed to say this, but I gave up. I read all of that. I typed in, how do you get a kid's book published? Google told me, bro, you don't. And I believed it. And I put all my stories in a drawer. I stopped writing. I stopped going to those classes. I stopped going to those groups. I gave up on that dream for almost a decade. And then one day I was at a pizza place with my wife. And the person next to us ordered a pizza. They ordered a pepperoni and a cheese. And then they said, and give me a pizza with everything on it. And I laughed. My wife said, why'd you laugh? I said, oh, that guy, he ordered a pizza with everything on it. And she said, why is that funny? And I said, oh, he doesn't want a pizza with everything on it. That would be a lot. He wants a pizza with like 5 or 6 things on it. A pizza with everything on it would have like this entire restaurant, like the tables and the chairs and the blender and the chef's hat and stuff. That's a lot for a pizza. And actually, that's wrong. It would have more than that. It would have like the whole street, the city. I guess it would have the whole world on it if it's everything. It would have the whole world on the pizza, and that's probably too much for one pizza. So it's going to collapse under its weight, right, at some point, and then that would form a black hole, and I guess it would destroy the galaxy. So that's why you don't want a pizza with everything on it. My wife was like, are you okay? Do you want to sit down? And I was like, I do want to sit down because I actually think that's an idea. And because I give my ideas at home, I pulled out a notebook and I wrote it down. I still have this notebook all these years later. It was a book idea for a pizza with everything on it about this kid who wants to make this pizza and it keeps putting more and more stuff on it. Eventually it destroys the universe and then there's a big bang of pizza and the whole world is recreated out of pizza. Very deep stuff. And I'm glad I didn't give up on this idea. For whatever reason, this idea I didn't give up on. And 2 years later, this book came out. It's called A Pizza with Everything on It. It was published by Chronicle Books, and it came out during the pandemic. If you're thinking, like, when's a good time to publish a children's book? I would wait until all the bookstores are closed and everyone thinks they're going to die. It's like prime market opportunity. And I thought, man, no one's going to see this book, but somehow this book found its people. To date, this book has 800 plus reviews on Amazon. Amazon called it one of the best children's books of the year. That year that it came out, I started getting this picture texted to me from all my friends. They said, dude, congrats, I just saw this. And I was like, what is this? It was the Amazon Christmas catalog. They went to every house in the country. This year, a sequel came out called A Sunday with Everything on It, so I've been getting pictures from people sent to me of them reading the book to their kids, or kids reading the books themselves. Not to brag, but that is 2 children ignoring a Nintendo Switch so that they can read a book that I wrote. Amazon put it on a billboard in New York City. All these amazing things have happened, but none of that's the coolest part. The coolest part is that I get videos like this. I get videos sent to me from people of their kids reading the book, of them reading the book to their kids. I get videos that I'm like, I don't think this person knows they're in the video because it's always a dad reading the book to the kid and there's like a half of a door frame in the video. So I think the mom's trying to capture a moment and she knows if the dad sees the camera, he's going to like stop doing the silly voices and stuff. I've gotten notes from therapists who say that they read this book to kids who have been through really traumatic experiences because, quote, your book is so dumb, it just kind of takes them out of it. And then I get videos like this. This is a girl I've never met before and probably never will meet. And she's learning to read with a story I wrote in my backyard shed.
That's a perfect but I said no. Dad?
You get the idea. We could be here all day. Am I right? She's not a good reader, I'll be honest with you. That is the meanest joke in my talk, and every time I think, I should take that out, and then I don't, so I don't know what that says about me. No, honestly, every time I get a video like that, I have this like mixed response. Part of me is like, that is so cool. What a cool thing. And then this other voice comes in and goes, yeah, wonder how many more of those you'd have. Wonder how many more stories would you have written. How many more books would you have put out into the world? How many more moments of connection would you have created between parents and kids at bedtime? How many more smiles would you have put on how many more faces if you didn't listen to all the people who told you it wouldn't work? Ideas need a bodyguard, and sometimes you have to bodyguard your own ideas. As leaders, you have to bodyguard the ideas of the people around you, because every organization has someone who's decided it's their job to be the devil's advocate. Nobody asked that person, but this one guy, it's always a guy, decided that it's his job to tell you why your idea won't work. And you know what? You need that guy later on, but not at the beginning. And later on, once the idea's got its legs under it, bring him in to find the weak spots and figure out how to make the idea the strongest version of itself. But at the beginning, man, give that guy an errand to run. Put him in another office somewhere else. Send him to a conference. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you're that guy. We have to bodyguard our own ideas.